Welcome to Toffee TV. We are joined today by two members of Everton Fans Forum. It's Jeanette and Lewis. Thank you for coming in. And they're here to tell us about the season tickets, which it's all a bit weird this year. We've been scratching our heads a little bit. You know, normally get a couple of months free. That's gone out the window.
Free?
Yeah, well, you get 10 months, don't you? Normally, I'm a direct debit buyer of my season ticket. I normally get a couple of months free at the end. When I say free, I don't have to pay for anything for 2 months, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like, it's 12 months. So, first of all, how much has the Fans Forum had to do with the season tickets this season?
Well, I think a lot, to be honest, because the club have consulted with us quite a few times. We've had a few meetings on this, haven't we? Around, you know, what's going to work best for fans, to look at what's affordable, you know, what works right for them. So we've had a lot of discussion. And the direct debit scheme came up, obviously, the 12-month thing, which I think spreads the cost, which is great, and as well as, and I think we'll talk about this later, the different age categories and the new category that's come in. So yeah, we've had quite a bit of consultation, haven't we?
Yeah, I think it's important as well for both parties to have that touch point, because as a forum, obviously one of our main issues is around keeping Goodison and going to Goodison affordable. And if you can't do that, then you lose one of your key aims. So if the club can be receptive towards with that, then that's obviously a positive. So it's been good, and we've seen a lot of good feedback already on this, obviously, and hopefully you agree it's a good strategy.
Well, the direct debit's always been a big thing for me. I mean, I know people think I'm, you know, Scrooge McDuck and me Toffee TV money, but I'm not, honestly. It's not, you know, what money. The direct debit has always been a huge thing for me. You know, trying to get scrambling around, trying to find the pay. I mean, I'll be honest, my mum used to basically just sort me out, and then I used to pay. I used to pay her back over. I think I might still owe her from the 90s. For most things, actually, cars as well. But the direct debit's been a massive thing, and for that to go to actually 12 months now, and also the cutting off of the early bird, I think, as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
That to me is it's so simple and straightforward, because for so long it's almost been like, I know there's been this rush and you know, there's been reasons and people put other reasons on that, but it just makes it so straightforward, doesn't it? Just help fans afford to go to Goodison and keep Goodison full when we all know that's when it's at its best.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that it's, you know, the home games since the start of this season have been sold out. And, you know, I know we've had some situations where we've been criticised because it's quiet, but we know why that is. But you saw it, you know, yesterday, and it was just amazing, wasn't it, when you've got a full house. And I think the other key thing that came up, didn't it, Lewis, around the number of season ticket holders in a particular category who are kind of, I guess from the club's point of view, a little bit at risk, because if you get that massive hike from, you know, when you're used to paying that amount, and then it just jumps to a full adult price, it's a big jump. So yeah, I mean, obviously the new age band 22 to 24 now is I think for me representing that sort of category is great news. If you're in an entry level job, if you're a student or whatever, you need that stepped price, really. £20 a game, I think it works out, doesn't it? So you can't really argue, considering, I think, well, in fact, the other day some of my mates went across to a League 2 game and paid £22. You
just want to tell your mate to stop going to League 2 games.
Apart from that mistake they made there, they paid £22 for the privilege. So I said to them, buddy, I can pay 20 quid to go to Everton if you get a season ticket for 19 games. So I think you look at that and you think, fair play. You know, we're in a place now where the Premier League versus even lower league in general, you almost feel for the lower league clubs, because how are they going to get to that level? But yeah, the affordability now of going to Goodison is actually pretty good now.
Have you had to fight for that, for the 22 to 24? How did that come about? Did it come from the forum?
I think the club obviously were aware that they might need to have a look at that. We obviously made some comments around this, and we feel strongly about this. It was kind of a conversation around, do we ask for a student card, and do we go into that down that route?
Looked at all those different options, and I think the good thing about the forum, this is only our first year. We're just coming up to the first year in of a 3-year stint. But what's brilliant about the people that are in it is everyone's from different backgrounds, and you know, we all fit into different sort of stories. So you've got Lewis, who's in that category, that can be affected. I've got a son who is 16, and it's kind of coming to that age where you think, oh my god.
But you're starting to think about, you know, the holidays without him, aren't you, as well? You don't want to be, you know.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's your time now. You've done the parent, it's your time now. You know, you want to. He doesn't know what's about to hit him. I had this, you know what I mean? My mum and dad, as soon as I was out the house, I go, what are you doing going on that holiday? Yeah, I went camping. Thanks, mum and dad.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely that. And I think, you know, the thing as well about it is we don't all agree. So you get situations where there'll be a bit of a you know, a good sort of discussion and some you know, some sort of you know, disagreement really around the table. But from the point of view of how much involvement we had in this decision, I think particularly that new category, very much so. Yeah. You know, we really pushed for that.
And it also shows that the club hopefully are reacting to like the social change that is. Because I remember, I think there used to be a gap between kids and like there was no gap between just kids and adults as well. And you had that band where you're 16 and I know there's a lot of thing with the tickets as well, and one minute you're 16 and it's next minute you're adults and you're like,
and you can't go to the game then.
Yeah,
it just prices you out just like that overnight.
And I think that's the problem certainly Liverpool are finding as well, which and it's the complete, I love the brilliant irony.
Even with the 400-year waiting list.
With the 400-year waiting list, yeah. But I love the brilliant irony of Liverpool fans mocking us for our half-season tickets.
Yeah.
And then campaigning for cheaper season tickets, and this is another way. And there are a lot of good Liverpool fans now starting to open their eyes and looking at what Everton are doing and thinking, why aren't we doing that? Their age range is getting, the brackets are getting older and older and older, and young fans can't go. Yeah. And Everton fans, I look around me and I see just a perfect mix of fans.
And the thing that we've got, which is I think critical for the club to hold on to, is the fact that we've got bands of mates who go the game together. And you know, not that we want to talk about our friends over the park, but they can't do that.
No.
You know, the lads who live in this city who want to go with their mates, that they can't go. But we can, and you see that. But what we didn't want was for that age range to be just priced out overnight, because that it's just rubbish then, isn't it? Because you're just getting, at that age, you're getting really to get stuck into it, aren't you?
I think for me, I think it's really important because, you know, I've got a teenage son and I work with teenagers, and there's the battle now with when we were growing up, it was football, wasn't it? That was just football. That's what you do. You played it. You went to watch Everton, blah blah blah. A few of my mates went to watch Liverpool, but there was only a couple of them.
The dodgy ones.
Yeah, well, not blues. The city's blue and all that. But I think your football's fighting for those teenagers, for the younger kids to go, because it's great having X amount of 40, 50, 60, 70-year-olds at the game, but if your younger fans can't go to a match, they're going to turn away. You're already trying to battle with it anyway. There's that many other things for children to do nowadays, you know, your gaming and skateboard and everything else. You want them to be able to go and see it, and I think that's something we do really, really well.
I agree.
And I worked at the club when it was in the ticket office, when it was kids 16, you know, kid 1 year, next year you're paying full price.
Like
and I think that's key.
Small was it small boys to small medium?
But it was, to be fair though, when he worked there was a boys' pen, so
that couple of years you were in there then,
But I also think the economical climate,
don't let this fool you.
Wonderful hair alone. I think also as well that where we live in with financial restrictions is kids can actually only pick one thing now. Like you can't go to footy and also go and do these other things. You can only actually pick one thing now, and there you're going to be your mates for a long time. As you mentioned, you go with your groups of mates, and you can't go and do footy and then go and do these other things. It's very restricting now, so it's important that Everton are leading the way to say no, stick with
options.
Us. Yeah,
definitely.
It's so hard, isn't it? Because you get to sort of around the age band and you're saving for houses, you're saving for deposits and all that sort of thing. So you do have to cut on your luxury almost. So if you can still afford to go to the game, but I think the other key stat as well, I read the other day, 1 in 4 now season ticket holders are under the age of 22. That's against the Premier League average of 1 in 6. So if we can continue that sort of ratio, that's sustainable, isn't it? And I think Farhad Mashiri mentioned in the general meeting, didn't he, that word sustainability. That's the sort of figure you've got to reach to sort of get that get that initiative and get that objective fulfilled. So that's a good stat for me.
Yeah, I think that's a great stat. What about the overall pricing? Because obviously it's come down anyway.
Yeah.
Was that already a figure that was approached, or did you sit down and fight for a figure to become lower?
Well, it wasn't a discussion about specific figures, but the club consulted around, is this the right thing to do? And they do that every time there's like a cup game, and it's like, well, do we stick with this figure, this £5 for, and I think that's really important, because it would be quite easy for them to say, well, we'll just mirror whatever the other clubs are doing in the league. But actually, no, and generally the answer from us is you've got to keep it low. You've got to, because
again it comes back to social factors, doesn't it?
It
just
does.
Because someone else is doing it. Everton as a club and the people who live in the city,
I know,
I've got a lot more different challenges than people who live in another city.
You only have to look, Ped, at the food bank that we support. We volunteer to support the Support and Food Banks guys on every home match day, and it's just, the generosity first of all of our fans is unbelievable, but it's the fact that we have to do it, and we do.
It's unbelievable.
And that social side, I think, is key, as well as just the political side, because things like apprenticeships and that sort of thing. So those age groups, these kids are being paid just a little over minimum wage, but they're working, and you want to be able to provide them with that ability to go out and socialise in what they want to do.
Definitely. I work in that kind of industry anyway, so the challenges are there on the street. Food banks in 2017 is just ridiculous. We've got clothes banks in the city as well, which is just unbelievable. So in an industry where footballers are paid astronomically for kicking a football, let's be honest, it's a hobby. My missus might agree with me saying it, because I don't say it's a hobby at any other time in the week. So she doesn't watch this, thankfully, so we're all right. That's what it is. So there is those other issues. So if we can help young people get to the game and take the mind off other stuff that's going on, that's going to stand us in good stead.
Another thing I think, it's probably not really on the agenda as such. You probably haven't spoken about this, but I think it's what is important to think, and I think the prices are getting a little bit more equal around the stadium as well. So I think that's a big factor, because when people talk about the atmosphere in the ground, I think I'm not saying they do, but I know this is something that like you've come across it. People get to a point where they might want to move out of an area of a ground, say the Gladys Street. It might be, they might grow out of the Gladys Street like Baz did, and then move to the Bullens.
I was in the main stand, and I went to the Gladys Street.
Yeah,
and then
but some people want to move, but I think there's been almost like a financial block on them moving.
Yeah.
And I've been criticised for saying this, but
don't say it again. Then.
Go on, say
it. I'll say anything. I do feel that sometimes the atmosphere, it benefits from having a younger contingent in a certain area of the ground, and I think there are certain people that might want to move. They might want to be in the Gladys and be full part of it, and I think the pricing helps that now.
It does,
because let's be honest, you get to a certain age and everything in life, from houses to cars, where you go, I want to take the next step. Now, whether that be the park end or the main stand, I think that's being blocked by the prices. So the prices being more consistent, all around the stand might help that. Now, that, as I say, that might be a case. People of all ages, I sit with people of all ages, they love the Galaxy, but there might be a case now where you get people going, you know what, I'll move the main stand, and then someone younger can move into the Gladys Street. And that for me will help the atmosphere if those people don't want to be in the Gladys Street.
It is.
It's a fair point.
And I think the fact that we know that none of our fans are going to pay more than £30 a game. That's fantastic. That. When you think what can you get, what type of entertainment, especially like yesterday, I would have paid 10 times that for that feeling. So it's just I think it's a great investment in the fans from the club. I do.
I mean, at £30 a game, and you go to the Empire to watch a show or something, it's 30, 40, 50 quid. So if we can get that, like the Man City game, every game, that 30 quid as well. I don't mind moving on my street. I want to move about 3.5 miles down the road to the dock, and I'll pay a little bit more. Small ships
from Wales. Now you've got to think about that.
The view. I open my seat. I can see the small.
And what about all these people who bought luxury flats in the tobacco warehouse?
Oh, walk their dog.
You've got it.
On the dog.
It's not good enough. You know what I mean? I mean, so the tickets now. Are they on sale now?
I think so. I know my figures.
Yeah, they're on.
No.
So they're,
Yeah, they are.
You've got them tables the 6 as well, haven't you?
Yeah, but if you want the 12-month direct debit, you've got to do it in January for obvious reasons. But I think, you know, there are going to be a lot of people who'll see that as a really good idea. Sort of do away with this burden of a debt every year that you feel like you've got, and actually you just pay your direct debit, and that suits a lot of people because we do it with our mobile phones, we do it with, you know, all of your utilities and stuff, but particularly mobiles, it's in that kind of category, isn't it? So so you've got to kind of get cracking on that if you want to do it. But the other options are still there, which is brilliant. You know, you can still do the Everton MasterCard for 10 months interest free if you want. But the fact that 12 and 11 months is there, I think, is
it's a no-brainer, really, isn't it? If you know, I say I've been using it for years, and it has been a lifesaver, to be honest. You know, because it just makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, not like Baz, he just throws money at it.
What I just pay me season ticket. Yeah. You know when you're laying in bed, mate, and I'm in a hospital with a family. Yeah, just remember. Just remember.
What's that got to do with
anything? I don't know, but just remember. It's great paying. It is.
No, it makes sense.
Easy. Then you haven't got that chunk of money in the summer, and I'm paying for it to go on holiday. Then got to convince your missus this is worth it. Yeah, but you come home moaning every week. I know
you can disguise it as well for missus.
What?
Disguise the payments he misses. If it's going out in small chunks, you see.
That's it. You're right. I thought you mentioned Sky. I was going to say, no, I don't subscribe to Murdoch stuff.
That one.
I'm a proper husband. No. My wife sits next to me in the Galley Street, so.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Proper. You know what I mean?
That is proper.
That's, you know.
Mine hates football. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. I've got it all day, every day.
No.
Yeah.
I get told to shut up.
So, I mean, is there any more information you can give us? Anything we've missed out?
April 6th, guarantee your seat.
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
April the 6th.
Yeah, if you want to move, you still got to get that done by then, and then you can have a little look around, see if there's any seats without any obstructed views.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
pretty much everything. Yeah.
Can I just ask quickly on, because when I worked at we capped it at 25,000, and I know that now it's 32,000, is it? Something like that we've got. Is that right? 32,000. So were you involved in that decision to push it up? Because I know that the other lot keep theirs a little bit lower than that.
I think it's governed by the Premier League. I think that ratio, but I'm not sure how much leeway the club has.
Okay.
I think they keep a certain allocation back.
Because that's made a big difference this year with obviously with the sellouts, because there's less tickets.
Yeah.
And that creates that demand, doesn't it? Then and then obviously, you know, if we keep having days like we did at the weekend, that demand's going to grow and grow and grow, and it'll be almost like we need a waterfront stadium with 50,000 in, won't it?
Bit of
God forbid.
Are you watching, Farhad?
Of course he's watching.
You do.
Of course he's watching. I mean, just touching generally on what you do. I mean, what have you been involved in your first year with the Fans Forum?
Well, it's been quite busy because we joined just at the time when they were kicking off. The group were kicking off the next statue.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You know, I was just looking at your Holy Trinity picture up there.
It's been hid behind that big telly. We need to get someone in and just do the whole thing.
So that was exciting at the start because, you know, you get to meet the guy who's like the sculptor and all of that. So that was really good, involved in that kind of stuff. But I think what certainly more recently, what I'm really proud about is our involvement in the interior branding.
Yeah.
I just think it looks amazing.
It does look great.
Because I sit in the.
Someone will give us a tour one of these days, won't they? You know.
We'll give you a
empty
tour.
promises.
Empty. I don't know.
I can't even remember if it was you said it.
Someone with a very small name.
And then a massive name.
Then a massive name that no one can pronounce.
We'll lobby for you.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
No, it looks certainly in the Bullens where I am. It looks brilliant.
I know.
Absolutely brilliant.
I know. I think the Bullens, they've done a great job in there. So the branding's been great, and I think what people might not realise about the Fans Forum is, I know we do meet once a month with the club, and we have like a set agenda to go through, and you know, a lot of the things that come through to us, whether it be by email or a lot on Twitter now, people just get in touch with us on Twitter, and we'll raise issues that we can influence at that. But there are also sort of smaller working groups that meet quite often actually, isn't it, during the month. Things like, you know, around the communication strategy and, you know, events and stuff like that. So I know you'll know that we do the odd quiz and we support Everton in the community and all things like that. So yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that goes on as well as that main sort of, you know, consultation meeting. So yeah, it's good. It's busy as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think one of the big breakthroughs as well, just thinking about it from this year, was that Fanatics meeting as well, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
I think Fanatics have been a bit more open to chatting to us and working with us on ranges and all that. And obviously, when it was kit bag, it was a little bit of a problem here and there. But to be fair, they've been quite open and wanted to work with us as well. So that's also a plus from this year, and hopefully, sort of as we continue on the forum, they'll listen as well to some more ideas, because as we know, we talk about season tickets, but merchandise as well.
Yeah,
big thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Massive thing.
And you've got to start somewhere, you know, because the relationship was bad. You know, the view that people had of kit bag was awful. And it's like, you know, do you go and start that conversation? And actually, I think they found it a little bit uncomfortable. Well, they did find it uncomfortable, didn't they? Because we were at the end of the day, we go to the game as well. We're you know, we're fans of the club, and we brought to the table the frustrations as well as all the stuff from the likes of Twitter and everything else, our own, just like
just customer feedback, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Exactly right, yeah. And they have listened, to be fair to them, and I think it's a long process. You know, we're not all best mates now, but it's getting better.
Of course, you've got
and I think the
conversation,
dialogue's there now, so that the channel's open. So that's a good point, that, Lewis. I think,
And just really finally, I mean, it's great to see the stadium on the outside looking so amazing. It's nearly there, isn't it? And on the advert, I just think I love that effect anyway of the time. And it just looks brilliant, the stadium, seeing as how it's developed. And I know a lot of people saying what's the point and you're looking for a new stadium, but it just you know, you imagine now when it's complete, if it was the first time you went to Goodison and seen it at night with the lights, I just think it would look spectacular. You know, I think instead of grey plastic.
But that's the thing though, isn't it? It's perception. You know, and it's okay, we can stand still and say, well, we want to move and leave it as it was, but when you look up now, you go up now, it looks like, you start thinking the club wants to move forward, and it's been a long time since I've felt as though we've really had the tools to move forward, and it feels as though now we are, and that to me is an example of it. I mean, I was just sat there yesterday and you're coming away from it after a win like that, and you look back at it and the blues just, you know, it just looks incredible, you know, near the days, aren't they? So it's all good. It's all good.
Just need to get that tower finished. So my view is completely, don't have to see any of it.
It will look great when it's done, won't it, though? It's just a shame it's taken a little bit longer.
Although I did once watch a game from a tree in Stanley Park because I couldn't get in. Boxing Day 1994, got beat by Sheffield Wednesday 4-1. I couldn't get in, and I watched it from a tree. I could only see one goal. It wasn't the best.
You missed Dunk's header.
I did, because it was at the park end. There you go.
You got spanked for one.
There you go. But it didn't give me mum and money back. So
it didn't matter.
So
you have to pay for the tree.
Still owe it.
Yeah.
Listen, if there was a list of what I owe my mum,
it wouldn't be broken.
Let's sort your Bramley board off. Season ticket off for a small boat.
We'll get a small boat
to land up now. Be laughing.
Right, that's all the information on the season tickets that are available now. Go and get one. You will anyway. We know this, but we just thought we'd get the guys in from the Fans Forum to make it a little bit more easier and get a bit more background into the situation. Thank you for coming in and enlightening us. Anytime. Thanks for watching Toffee TV. We'll see you later.